Hello everyone and good morning. Welcome to the MLM Lunchtime Leadership Show. Jeff will be joining me here in just a moment. He just had to run and grab his notes real fast. But we are on, in case you're new to the show, we are been going over the Roadmap for Success by John C. Maxwell. Today we're on chapter 7.
I forgot my coffee.
You forgot your coffee that I made you?
Next door.
That's okay. You can have a sip of mine. So, we're on chapter 7, and are we there yet? You'll hear this, we've heard this all the time. If you have kids, as soon as you hit the road, you may not have even left the driveway, and kids are asking already, are we there yet? So, when we're on these trips, if you take a trip enough, you eventually start to recognize landmarks, and you're like, oh, if I see that sign or that building, I know that we are halfway there. So John goes in to talk about recognizing the landmarks as you're going through your success journey. So looking for the landmarks. He kind of has a few examples here that he gives, but what it costs to reach the landmarks. So you pay a price to get stronger. You pay a price for getting faster, and you pay a price for jumping higher, but also you pay a price for staying just the same. So reaching landmarks on the success journey requires commitment and persistence. And it also requires sacrifice. To reach each landmark, you need to have you have to give up something of value. It's a series of trade-offs. So whenever you go to reach something, you can't reach a landmark without giving something up. Sometimes it's giving up different things like TV. I know it's a little hard right now because we're all stuck at home. However, it may be giving up different activities that's not necessarily getting you to where you need to go. So successful landmarks are internal, not external. So sometimes these landmarks are actually differences that you'll find in yourself. Like as you keep going, you get more experience, and then you are able to grow, and your potential is growing. Did you find your notes? Mm-hmm. They're on your phone. Okay. So achievement over affirmation. So when you're going on this journey, a lot of people love affirmation. It's good to get a compliment from other people, but you don't always want to count on it. So when it comes to, you want to do the work without accepting anything else in return. If people recognize it, great. If not, there's no hard feelings, but you want to be able to keep going, because affirmation from others is fickle and fleeting. And also when you start doing really well, not everybody is going to be happy for you. And in some cases, a lot of people will try to tear you back down. So you want to choose who you're spending time with, because you want to be working with the people that are going to be happy for your successes. You don't want to come across as a bragger, but just be ready for the time where if you are doing really, really well, there are going to be some people who are going to nitpick at you and try to find fault in what you're doing just to make themselves feel better. So excellence over acceptability. So excellence is always a choice. So we can either just do the bare minimum, or we can choose to do the absolute best that we can. A lot of us think that we're doing 100%, but really we run at like about 92%. But that other percentage that we're missing is what we're missing to be able to get to where we need to go. And you want to make sure that whatever you're doing, and we try to run at that 92-95%, thinking that we're going all out and that that's good enough. But the problem is, just good enough doesn't get us to where we need to go. And then you end up exhausting yourself and getting mediocre results. You want to keep it at 100%. So to achieve excellence over what's merely adequate, follow these recommendations. Number 1, pay attention to details. It takes a lot of little things to add up to 100%. Seek continual improvement. I think we've gone over that enough. You always need to be working on what you're listening to, what you're reading, and continually be working on yourself. Practice self-discipline. Daily disciplines separate the excellent from the mediocre. If you want to change yourself, you must change something that you do every single day. And then number 4, maintain high personal standards. Mediocrity isn't a root at national problem, nor a corporate or institutional problem, nor is it. Oh, that was a quote. An old English quote. That's why I can't read it. I have to read those twice sometimes to make sure that I'm reading it correctly. We'll just skip over that. So your level of performance is a choice. You can settle for mediocrity or you can strive for excellence. But know this, you can't make adequacy your goal and reach your potential. So, personal growth or immediate pleasure. So, a lot of us are guilty of this. Rather than doing what we're supposed to do each day, it's, I'm going to go do something that I like doing. I'm going to go watch TV. I'm going to go read this. I'm going to go out with my friends rather than sitting down and working on something that's going to, that we have going on the next day for your business. Watching a movie opposed to making the list of what needs to get done the next day. We talk about planning the day before the day begins. At the end of the day, that is your time to plan for the next day to make sure you're using your time efficiently. And most people put their pleasures before what needs to actually get done. So with that is what, that is what I have for this chapter. I lost my page, and I will let you take over for future potential over financial gain.
All right, so just to kind of recap, pay attention to details, seek continual improvement, practice self-discipline, maintain high personal standards. That's basically what John says is the way to go if you want to hit excellence. Dan, what's going on? Junior, how are you? So, future potential over financial gain. It says money often brings options, but it doesn't necessarily add value. That's unfortunate, right? But that is probably the way it works. John goes into some examples of that. He said most of the positions that I've taken, I've actually taken a pay cut, but it allows me to grow bigger. So as you make decisions on your success journey, base them on potential, not necessarily dollars. A narrow focus over scattered interest. It says when you're young, you're first starting out, it makes sense to go out and try different things. But that's how you learn basically what your strengths are and to develop your dreams. The problem is when you're older and you try to run in 15 directions, first of all, you're old and you can't do it. And there's not enough time. And obviously you're going to have to sacrifice something that you should be doing for something that you want to do. So it's better. People with a I don't do that kind of work attitude, who really haven't paid their dues anywhere else, usually don't go far. And if you've run into people like this in direct sales or network marketing, you all know what I'm talking about, especially if you've contacted people. Contacting people 25 years ago is different than contacting people now. It's very different. And if you've not experienced that and you don't know what that's like, it's interesting to say the least. So, significance over security. It's easy to make a buck, but it's a lot harder to make a difference. That was actually Tom Brokaw, the newscaster. Emily's here. What's up? 2 p.m. tomorrow? Sure. So, the secret to continually trading up. On your way uphill, you always have 3 choices. Either gain something, lose something, or trade something off. The older and longer you work at this, the more you'll do trades. It says, if you have to give up, you're going to have to give up to go up, and that's actually David Jeremiah, one of John Maxwell's friends. There is no success without sacrifice, which obviously makes sense. You're going to have to give up something, time, energy, TV. You can pay now or play later, or you can play now and pay later, but either way, you're going to have to pay. That's what John Maxwell's dad told him early on, and it was one of the things that set him on the course he did. Develop character over anything, or over everything, I'm sorry. Focus on the big picture. Your goal is to finish the race and do the best you're capable of doing. Most people get to a certain point and they just kind of relax, and that's what John's talking about, the comfort zone. He doesn't mention the comfort zone necessarily, but that's what he's talking about. Get rid of excuses. 99% of failures comes from people who have a habit of making excuses. That's George Washington Carver. Successful people have a habit of doing the things that unsuccessful people don't like doing, and that's what it really comes down to. It's the whole feel, act, think versus think, act, feel. Jackie Simpson, how are you? So, 80% of all new sales are made on the 5th call. So when you understand, okay, so I wrote this, when you know and understand the numbers, you know you'll win before you'll start. That just came to me and I wrote that down. So that was actually me. 80% of all new sales are made after the 5th call. 48% of sales are made after 1 call, and then the person crosses them off the list. 25% quit after the 2nd call, 12% quit after the 3rd call, and only 10% keep going. So there's only about 10% that make it to the 4th, 5th. If you get all the way out to the 10th call, it's only about 1%, which is, you can see where the separating factor is. Most people are done after 3. Stay hungry. It says if you don't get what you want, it's a sign either that you're not serious about what you want, or that you tried to bargain over the price it's going to pay. You're like, well, I really want to hit this level in my company, so I'm going to go out and contact these 5 people, and then 5 people later, nobody wants to do it, or they say they're going to do it, right? They say they're going to do it. They say they're going to sign up. They're like, I'm here. I'm at the computer. I'm filling out the application, and then they don't go through with it. So I found if you don't do it with them, for them, usually it doesn't get done. Usually you're able to move up only 1 level at a time in either direction. So John says, whether you start doing the work or stop doing the work, usually you're going level by level. A lot of people try to jump up to the very top really, 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 really fast. And he's like, it is a stair step. Do the work to get to the next stair step. Are you hungry for success? And that's pretty much how John tops off that chapter, has some questions at the end. Again, we always suggest you reading the book yourself, but for those of you who want, we are going to put a link up. If you get me your email through that link, it's a landing page. We will trade the notes. So I take notes on every single book that I read, chapter by chapter. It's kind of like my Cliff Notes. I put everything in quotes, who said it, where they said it, along with all the bullet points of the chapter. So it is an easy way to scan through. So if you do want those notes, you can send us your email. We'll send them out. I've been sending out chapter by chapter day. I think we're only on chapter 3, but I'm putting these into an automated system that as we do it, it'll just shoot them out. So that way you can get every single chapter of the books that we're going over. And by the way, we did make a choice. The next book we're going over is Grant Cardone. So if you don't have that one, you can order it. Grant Cardone, Be Obsessed or Be Average. Be Obsessed. I was going to say Be Successed. Be Successed or Be Average. Be Obsessed or Be Average. That's the next book. Andrew is here from, I believe, Scotland. Am I right? I know it's north, way north. So, appreciate everybody for jumping on. That's what we have for today. And
David, just so you know, this stuff will be shared to multiple pages. I probably would just take your email off of here. I'm going to post a link on here shortly in a little bit, so that way you can enter in your email. But honey, I wouldn't leave your email in the comments, because with how many people getting spammed, it looks like that might be your work email. So I'll have you edit that out of there, and then you can enter it in once I post the link. But with that, thank you guys, and we will see you tomorrow.
Mañana.